Hello and welcome to this week's RacingBet preview, previewing the horse racing action at Randwick and Moonee Valley on Saturday, September 4th. No Group 1s this weekend, but a big day of racing in both Melbourne and Sydney with plenty of stakes racing. I'm your host, Tim Geers, joined by Trent Crebbin, and this episode is brought to you by PlayUp.com.au, your best bet. Trent, good day's racing. We have a break in the Group 1s until it's full throttle for the next couple of months, but some quality racing, as I said, in both Melbourne and Sydney this week.
Yeah, definitely. It was great to have Group 1 racing back last week with the Memsey in Melbourne. And this week we've got the Feehan Stakes, which of course is a golden ticket into the Cox Plate. So no doubt there'll be a few horses really trying to take that opportunity, and it should be a great day.
Yeah, we've got the Chelmsford Stakes Day at Randwick. Of course, we see the return of Zaaki in the tramway. We've also got the Concord Stakes, the Furious Stakes. And over at the Valley, we've got the Feehan Stakes and the McEwen Stakes. Plenty to get through. We'll be taking you through our best bets and best value bets for both tracks. A little bit of a different layout this week, so do bear with us if there's a few little errors along the way, but hopefully we get through fairly smoothly. Trent, we'll start with your best bet of the day. Maybe give us a quick report on how you expect the Valley to play this week, because I think there is a little bit of rain heading towards Melbourne.
Yeah, there is. So there's, I think, somewhere between 10 and 30 mils on Friday as a record, kind of in the later evening. So it just depends on how much of that'll hit. I've kind of done my form on around a soft 7 if we get around 20 mils of that rain. I think that could probably lend itself to being an on-pace sort of day. The Valley is often a default on pace, but we often see when it's very wet there or there's rain on the day that it can be hard to make ground. So I've gone looking for a few odds that I think are going to be close to the speed, and hopefully we can get a few nice results.
Okay, let's kick off with your best bet of the day at Moonee Valley. This comes up in race number 4. A horse you backed last time. You're going to back him again. Number 9, De Graves, currently $4 with PlayUp. And I'll try and get a replay across the screen while you talk here.
Yeah, so happy to be with De Graves again here. I think you can forgive that last start. I'm a genuinely forgiving punter, but that was on a good 3 track, and it was kind of made mention before the race by yourself that maybe a good track wasn't to his liking. And I think that's kind of evident if you watch that replay. He moves into the race really well. Between the 6 and the 400, he's the second fastest of the race. 4 to the 2, when he really starts to get going around the bend, he's the third fastest of the race. And I think just when he really tries to let down that last 200 meters, he just, I think he runs out of fitness a little bit, and perhaps the good track as well just hurts his sprint a little bit there as well, where he's about the 8th fastest of the race. He gets back onto a soft track here, which I really like. He's had that run under his belt now, so he's not such a big gap between runs. And he gets a really lovely map from barrier 6, probably just behind the speed, and he gets in really light after the 3 kilo claim. So happy to be with De Graves again here. I think the $4 is more than acceptable. I think he's going to start a bit shorter than that, and I'm going to make him my best bet of the day at the Valley.
Okay, so that's Trent's best bet at the Valley. Race 4, number 9, De Graves, currently $4 with PlayUp. We'll move on to Randwick. I'm going to wait for the lucky last for my best bet of the day. I think Chris Waller's got 6 runners in this race, so I'm going to try and pluck the right one, which is always a risky game to play. But I was really impressed with the debut Australian performance of horse number 13, A Tissue, and I'm going to back her to win again here. She took her record to 5 wins from 10 starts, as I said, with their first run on Australian soil. That was at this track a couple of weeks ago. She just got a dream run from barrier 7 by Kieran McAvoy, just sat, 5th, one off the rail, and just loomed into the race and put them away very stylishly to win by over a length over Matawa Takpe. I think that's a decent enough form reference, and she looks well suited here again. She does draw a little bit sticky out in barrier 13, but she's got a very good record overall, a good second up record. I don't think the rain will hurt her chances. She's only had 1 start on heavy ground, and she flew home to run second, and that was in New Zealand, where the tracks typically are bottomless. So, yeah, looking forward to seeing her again. Karen McAvoy did give a good push for her after that win, saying she was definitely a filly to follow into the spring. So, even though we do have a big field here and it is an open race, I think if she can improve off that first up run, she's going to be awfully hard to beat once again. So that's race 10, number 13, A Tissue, currently $3.40 with PlayUp. Okay, we'll move on to our best value bet of the day, Trent, and yours comes up in race number 9 at the Valley. You're with another Chris Waller horse number 9, Tory Joy, $21 with PlayUp.
Yeah, I think this is really savvy placement by the Waller team to send her down to Melbourne. She's had a bit of a gap between runs here, but I thought she's been running quite well in some some fairly strong benchmark races in Sydney. She's got form around the likes of Brutality, Opacity. She ran 4th in a Scone Cup earlier this prep. So I think that's solid enough form for this. But the real thing that I like about her here is the map. She's drawn wide. She gets Craig Neward on board, who can really rev them up out of the gates and own a race from out wide. And I just think there's not much pressure here for the lead. So I think she's going to cross and go straight to the front. She handles wet tracks really nicely. And if the track is playing how I'm expecting it to, and it's on pace suited, I think there's going to be a lot of horses that are just going to really struggle to reel her in here. So Tory Joy, I thought at $21 and you're getting about $5 or so the place. I thought that was a good each way bet.
Okay, and my best value bet of the day at Randwick is going to come up in race number 9. So I'm hoping to make it a bang to end the day at Randwick. I think this horse is flying. Horse number 6, Cuban Royale, currently $10 with PlayUp. We're getting double figure odds again about this horse. And if you look at his last 3 runs, he's been super. 3 starts ago, he won at Rose Hill over 1,200 metres. He then went to Randwick over 1,300 metres, sat 3 wide the trip, battled on really well for 3rd. And then last start, he drew barrier 11, just went all the way back and flew home to run 6th. It was a very good run. I'll try and put the replay up as we talk. You can see him coming right down the outside here, just 2 from the outside, and he gets going really late when he eventually gets into clear running. Motors home into 6th. He was beaten 2.8 lengths on that occasion. I thought he finished the race off really well from basically an impossible position at about the 300 metres. So I'm happy to back him again here with the better barrier draw. Barrier 4 hopefully sees him sit a little bit closer. He did sit, midfield when he won 3 starts ago. So I'm hoping the better barrier draw plays into his favour here. Wet ground, no dramas at all. And as I said, I think he's going really well. I'm happy to take the double figure odds. Once again, about Cuban Royale. Okay, one of the big talking points, Trent, at Randwick on Saturday is going to be the return of, I think he's still the Cox Plate favourite, Zaaki. He's now even money in the tramway. Is that a backable price? What do we do with him there?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I probably thought he was short enough, Zaaki. Drawn wide, he probably goes back, I would have thought, over 1,400 metres. It's just finding what's going to beat him here. Like you could, there's a few horses in here that you could make some kind of case for, but whether they're at their best, Dreamforce will probably lead, but, he's getting on in his years now. I'm not really sure what to do with him. So for me, it's probably just a watch race, but I'm not all over it, to be honest.
Yeah, I think Dreamforce's days are done. I'm pretty happy to avoid him. I thought the horse down the bottom, All Saints Eve, it's always been a mare that I've had a little bit of time for, and I thought she could run a race here at double figure odds, and there has been some early money to suggest she will return well. First up last preparation, she ran 3rd, beaten 0.4 lengths by Think It Over and Cryoderis in the Liverpool City Cup, which is obviously Group 1 form. So if she was to repeat that, I think she could definitely run a race here at double figure odds. No surprise to see her backed early. But yeah, Zaaki, clearly the horse to beat. 1,400 metres first up, probably the query. Never placed from 4 starts at the distance, but all of those were back in the UK. And obviously, since he's come to Australia, we know what he's done. So, look, if he was to turn up the way he went out, I think he'd be winning this. Anyway, exciting to see him back. And definitely, good to see some of the horses, the good horses return. And speaking of good horses, Nature Strip, $1.60. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, probably.
This is one of your boyfriends.
Yeah, he absolutely is. Probably don't want to be diving in $1.60, but he's got links on these. I think he'll win. And I can't wait for the Everest clash with Masked Crusader, Classic Legend. It should be a ripper. Yeah,
how good was Masked Crusader last weekend? That was enormous. I think I said at the 200, he's going to have to be Chautauqua to win from here. And Chautauqua, he just about was an incredible finish. And he's definitely one of my boyfriends. I'm glad I've stuck with him basically throughout his career. It's paid off well. Okay, that'll do us for this week's Racing Bet preview. We'll be back to preview Maccabi Diva Stakes Day next weekend. But in the meantime, you can find our full previews for Randwick and the Valley on racingbet.com.au. Thanks to PlayUp for sponsoring this week's episode. And Trent, we'll be back to do it all again next week.